Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today, wherever you are in this great, great world. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world right now. This all leads up to where XRP will finally take off because as the current financial system breaks down and as you're seeing everything unfold throughout the world little by little, it all leads to one place, the new financial system, one way or another, and XRP taking off in price. But I'm going to list all the videos this weekend under XRP videos because we're going to talk a little bit about the World Economic Forum. We're going to talk a little bit about other things as well, maybe even the vaccine a little bit. So let's take a look. The regulator has concerns that the bank didn't have proper monitoring and control systems inside the consumer business, known as Marcus, especially as it grew larger. Now, since the Federal Reserve is probing Goldman Sachs, you know this is going nowhere because Goldman Sachs runs our entire government. It's all the big banks that are controlling everything. Whenever you see headlines like this, it looks devastating, but it's really not. You'll see they'll get a fine or some minimal thing will happen. CNN officially turns on Biden, exposes receipts proving Joe met with Hunter Biden's business partners. Now, all of a sudden, there's a narrative around Biden. Are they trying to push him out of office? And who would we get next? That's what really worries me. And it should flow down to Kamala Harris. But I feel that there's something bigger going on here. And we knew Biden wasn't really running the country for a long time. I mean, this guy could barely get a sentence together. Biden, Hunter make presidential history as first father son duo under separate investigations. Now, everything that's been happening with Hunter Biden, most people want justice. They want to see him get locked up. They want to see Biden get impeached. But right now, I don't think is the time to get rid of Biden because then we get Harris. And that could be far worse than Biden. I thought they didn't have records. Interesting how they suddenly found it, isn't it? Secret Service able to disclose visitor records from Biden's home. Now, before, you would never even hear about this. Most likely it would have been swept under the rug, but things are coming out so fast around Biden right now. That's why I said some other agenda has to be getting pushed behind the scenes. And where is this leading? He's a Republican and say tax the rich. More than 200 millionaires, many of them American, present at Manifesto to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, to tax the ultra rich, including themselves. Now, this is crazy because all of a sudden they want to tax the rich. And we know the current financial system is in major, major trouble. I mean, the U.S. is sinking more and more into debt, as well as other countries. Inflation is skyrocketing. They keep saying the unemployment rate is down. But when you look around, people are working 2, 3 jobs just to make ends meet. That was part of the whole reason I started this YouTube channel was because I fell behind in some debts thanks to COVID. And luckily, this channel is doing as good as it is, and that's all because of all of you. So what the hell are they doing? Biden regime announces another 2.5 billion to the Ukraine. We can't pay our bills, our food, our fuel. Our border is overrun. Why are we going to war against Russia? Who is in the hell is making these calls? American had no say in any of this. And again, we see it right here. Secretary of State announces 2.5 billion more in Ukraine military aid. And I feel most people in the United States, once they found out about the money laundering, they were fed up with the Ukraine. But it's not the Ukrainian people. They still need help. I feel they're just under very bad leadership, and I feel that there's a lot of corruption going on in the background with Zelensky. Whistleblower reveals what is behind the mass attacks on U.S. food facilities. Now, remember when we kept seeing these fires? And this is very bad because our food, we have to eat. Let's face it. Huff knows that the FBI and the food industry have tried to investigate what he calls terrorist attacks, but they're getting nowhere. He suspects that a government funded actor or a globalist group like the World Economic Forum is behind it. We also seen the oil refineries as well. If a billion people stop eating meat, I tell you, it has a big impact. Not only does it have a big impact on the current food system, but it will also inspire innovation of food systems. This is coming from Jim Hagman, chairman of Simmons AG, at the World Economic Forum. These people don't want us eating meat. They want us eating bugs. Don't forget it. Bill Gates funds Myrna vaccines. He also the largest agricultural landowner in the U.S., while Dutch farmers have land seized by the World Economic Forum. He now wants to pump Myrna vaccines into food. Are you getting it yet? And again, there's no reason he should own all of that land. And let's face it, nobody wants the vaccine in their food. Breaking, Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla announces at Davos new Myrna flu vaccine due by June or July this year, and a COVID flu combination vaccine already in the works. We started experiments to make one vaccine for both COVID and the flu. This is why I didn't get the flu vaccine. And I'm not gonna, because I don't know what they're gonna sneak into there. But you got to ask yourself now, why do they want us to have this vaccine so bad? Before I thought maybe it's about the money and big pharma making all that money. But I think it goes beyond that. I believe it's tied to population control. Now, Anti World Economic Forum on Twitter, you might want to check them out because they upload consistently all day long. They just launched the Universal Digital Payments Network at the World Economic Forum. They are pushing for a global one world digital currency. And when you see here, it's coming digital currency tied to your digital ID. Turkey is to integrate a new central bank digital currency with their digital ID system. And that's how it goes. You get the CBDC, you get the digital ID, and then you get the social credit score. It's all falling in line with exactly what they're pushing for Agenda 2030 and the Great Reset. The original plan was that as long as US kept dollars as the main world currency, there is no worry about the debt. It's just paper that can be printed. And the world economy has realized that instability of the dollar trap and started to pivot away from the consequences can be severe. And that's why these countries are pulling away from the US dollar now. And as that continues to happen, our ability to print money here in the US will end. When that ends, the US dollar will plummet. That will usher in the new financial system. I believe that's how we're getting there, little by little. The declaration of North America happened 6 days ago. Woke ideologies, climate commitments, and advancing migration. Now ask who's talking about it and who didn't. Now this is coming. This is like the entire North America. It's Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Today, President Andres Lopez, President Biden, and Prime Minister Trudeau met in Mexico City for the 10th North American Leaders Summit. The leaders are determined to fortify our region's security, prosperity, sustainability, and inclusiveness through commitments across 6 pillars: diversity, equity, and inclusion, climate change and the environment, competitiveness, migration and development, health, and regional security. Now, this is starting to look like something that they've been working on for a while. What I think is actually happening here is the fact that they're going to unite the 3 countries together and they're going to form some sort of, trade path, number one. But they're also going to push the same woke agenda: climate change, climate change, climate change. And we already know that climate change only does one thing: it enriches the already rich of the world. But then on top of that, if they're talking about regional security, why is the US border still wide open and we're still allowing so many people in here on a daily basis? Now, I'm sure some of those people come here looking for sanctuary. That would be fine. And then get them on the path to becoming a US citizen. But I believe there's a lot of really bad people crossing that southern border, and I believe no one wants to talk about it. And when I seen that California wants to allow illegal immigrants to become police officers in that state, if I was a Californian, I'd be out. Trudeau Liberals signed a World Economic Forum led charter is Sunak and Hunt about to do the same. Now, I feel Trudeau actually sold out the Canadians a long time ago. In November 2020, while Canadians were distracted by COVID, the Liberal government signed a World Economic Forum initiated charter. The Agile Nations Charter will facilitate agile rulemaking outside of Parliament. So they will make laws and rules according to what the World Economic Forum wants. And I believe a lot has happened during the year of 2020. That's how we got to where we are today. I see people in the comments always say, I was born and raised in the United States, and the United States is changing. People are all looking to leave the U.S., people that were born here, because the U.S. is now becoming crime ridden. It's also, we have a massive homeless population. We have people that can barely feed their families. And yet our government is taking our tax dollars and sending it out of the U.S. instead of helping its own peoples. There's something wrong here. And we're watching it drastically change since COVID started. I believe that's when the World Economic Forum took control in every single country that they have a leader in. But we'll continue on in the next video. I want to thank you all for watching this video. I appreciate all of you watching my videos. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.